All right, so go ahead in your chair. We'll find a nice comfortable seat. And we can go ahead and let our hands rest on our knees and just close our eyes. Take a nice big long inhale and a nice long exhale. Let your awareness settle onto your breath. As it does, let your breath grow a little longer and a little deeper. As you're here and you're breathing, just feel your sit bones on your chair. Feel the crown of your head reaching up towards the sky. Let your shoulders soften onto your back. Maybe take a moment and soften your face. And just be here and breathe for a few moments and just appreciate the fact that you can take a couple moments and find your breath. And then go ahead, set your intention, whatever that is this morning. Whatever it is for you, hold it in the space of your heart. Take a few more nice long breaths. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Let's just start moving our arms. Big inhale, reach the arms to the sky. And exhale, let the arms come all the way back down. Just try that a few times. Inhale, arms reaching up. And exhale it down. And again, inhale, arms reach up. And exhale down. And go one more like that. Inhale, arms up. And exhale down. Let's add a lean this time. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, the right arm down, the left arm reaches. And then inhale back to the center. And exhaling over to the left. And as you go back and forth this morning, when you lean to one side, try to look to the other. See how it feels just to change the way you're looking. Looking from one side to the other. We're going to talk today a little bit about perspective. Just back and forth a few times. Let's go one more time each way, over to the right. And then over to the left. And then back to the center. And let's bring the arms all the way down. So I think perspective is really important as we're here in these times, lockdown in our homes, spending a lot of time on our own. And perspective is interesting because we all have a different perspective. Even if you know someone really, really well, you don't see out of their eyes, and so everybody has a different perspective. Let's twist a little bit. Big inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, turning to the right. The left hand's gonna come to the right knee. The right hand can come to the back of the chair if that feels good. Sitting up nice and tall, just looking to the right, and then we'll go back and forth. So inhale, back to the center. Exhale, over to the left. So again, we're changing the way we're looking. Back and forth a few times. Nice and gentle, you don't have to twist all crazy. Just back and forth. One more time to the right. And then we'll go one more time over to the left. And then back to the center, and the arms can come down. So I just started a new podcast, and I'm really excited about it. It's called The Blue. The idea is that we're going to dive deep into different subjects. But the first subject I did, because I wanted to bring some perspective to this situation, was that we talked about solitary confinement. I don't know what my animals are doing outside the door, but they're making lots of noise, so I apologize. But yeah, so we're talking about solitary confinement because we are all confined into our house, but that's like a whole nother level being in solitary confinement. And so I thought maybe it could bring some perspective, and also just people might have some empathy towards it right now. So if you want to go check that out, you can find it on my website. I'll even put that link in the comments on Facebook and Instagram. But anyway, I thought today we'd think about perspective. And one of the things I like in yoga is that we can kind of take different shapes and look different ways and kind of change our perspective. So let's fold forward here at the beginning, big inhale, looking up. Normally we're looking out quite forward, and I love it in yoga when we fold in, we can turn it inward and really kind of change our perspective. And sometimes in yoga, we take a perspective where we're actually like turning completely inward to ourselves in meditation or just in our physical practice when we fold forward, something like this. But just take a few breaths. And then we'll walk our hands all the way up. So if you didn't hear, we can go ahead and stand up. If you didn't hear us at the beginning, Angie is on Zoom, and we were talking about people wanting to get out of the house right now. And certainly when you can actually get out somewhere, your perspective changes. You can see the world around you and see what's going on. And so that can be really, really helpful. We were talking about going and taking a drive. I want to say, make sure you're still social distancing and staying at home and wearing your masks if you are going somewhere like the grocery store or somewhere where we are going to encounter people. But getting outside can really change your perspective. My dog and I go on a walk like every day, and we've been trying to go somewhere different every day in the neighborhood, and that's been able to, shift perspective and make us feel better each day. So things like that can really help. Let's try our tree pose today. We work on this one a lot in class, but I think it's really important to work on our balance. So on the right side of the chair, the back of the chair should be right there next to your hand, just in case you need it. We'll stand on our left foot. The right foot can lift. We've got our options. So foot to ankle, if you need that little kickstand, just with the toes on the ground, foot to calf, or you can lift your foot all the way up to your thigh if you like. If you need the chair, you've got the chair. If not, both hands can come to your heart. Standing up nice and tall, arms can go out and all the way up. And we can just take a few breaths. And then go ahead and lower that down. Give both legs a wiggle. Let's try the other side. Come into the other side of the chair. Standing on the left side of the chair, so the right foot is the foot next to the chair. The right hand's got the chair if you need it. Again, we can go foot to ankle, foot to calf, maybe foot to thigh. You can decide. Maybe one hand at your heart, maybe both hands at your heart. If you need the chair, it's there. Reach up through the crown of your head. My foot's gonna slip. Reach up through the crown of your head, stand up nice and tall. Maybe the arms go out and all the way up. Taking a few breaths. Hug the belly button in. And then we can go ahead and lower down. So we're gonna come back to that one in a couple minutes. But let's go ahead. I'm gonna turn my chair sideways so you can see. If you want to, you can turn your chair backwards so that you're still facing me. But I'm gonna go sideways just so you can see what we're doing. So I wanted us to try downward dog today. So downward dog with the chair is a little bit different than our normal downward dog. We do it on the ground when we're in a regular mat class. But downward dog with our chair can be a really great pose also. So to go for downward dog, we're going to take our hands on the chair. If you've got the kind of chair like I do that's a nice solid chair, which is the kind I encourage for chair yoga, you can wrap your fingers around the side. If not, you can put your hands on the chair. We usually have our index fingers facing forward, even a little bit out. But I'm going to wrap my hands around the side of the chair because that feels nice and solid. And then as you're here, we'll walk ourselves back. And the goal is to end up with a nice straight line from your hands to your hips. Now, if that doesn't want to happen and you're more forward, that's okay. Be wherever you are. But the goal is to start to reach the sit bones back and get as long as you can. Be here with nice strong legs. Just take a couple breaths. And then we'll walk ourselves all the way back up and come up to stand. Now, standing closer to the chair, we'll have a regular forward fold. So all of these are having us look in different ways, right? Our downward dog is really a little inversion, getting our head below our hips. Now we're going to fold forward, which just like we did in our chair, changes our perspective and lets us turn inward a bit. We're also going to get a big stretch in our hamstrings. So lots of options if you haven't been in this class before. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, option one, hands go to the chair. If that feels like a big stretch in the back of your legs, you can stay just like that. Option two, you might walk your feet back a little bit, take your forearms to the chair. Option three, you might take hands to the rung of the chair. Option four, you might move the chair away or slide yourself back and fold forward, reaching towards the floor. Let's take a few breaths. Think about reaching the sit bones up towards the sky. Think about letting the head drop down. But think about lifting the shoulders away from the ears. Nice strong legs. And then from there, you can look forward. If you need the chair, you can walk your hands up the chair. If not, we'll come all the way up to stand. Beautiful. So let's try our tree poses again. So if you turn the chair around, you don't need to turn it back. You just need to stand on the side of it next to the back of the chair. The chair can stay flipped around. That's totally okay. So standing on the right side, your left hand will be there at the chair. Left foot stays, right foot lifts, ankle, calf, or thigh. Let's not put it on our knee because we don't want to push our knee sideways. Not so helpful for our knee. Hands at your heart if you can. If you need the chair is there. Arms out and up when we're ready. So normally in our tree pose, we look at something out in front of us that's not moving. Today, I want us to change our perspective and just see how that feels. So instead of looking straight ahead, you might look up towards the ceiling. If that's feeling okay, then you might bring the head back down to neutral, and you might look over to the right, and you might look over to the left, and you might look back to center, and you might look down at the ground, and then maybe bring the head up and lower the arms all the way down. Give both legs a wiggle, and we'll try the other side. So coming to the left side of the chair, right foot's next to the chair, chair's there if you need it. Maybe foot to ankle, maybe foot to calf, maybe all the way up to your inner thigh. You can decide. If you need the chair, you've got it. Otherwise, hands at your heart. Maybe arms out and all the way up when you're ready. Again, we'll change our perspective a bit. So normally we're looking forward, and if you want to stay just looking forward, that's totally okay. But if you want to try changing your perspective, looking up to the sky, maybe bring the head back to center, maybe looking to the left, and back to center, maybe looking to the right, back to center, maybe looking down towards the ground, and maybe looking back up, and just noticing, how does that change things? Go ahead, lower down, shake both legs out, shifts things a little bit to change your perspective. So let's go ahead. I'm going to flip my chair around again. Let's find this downward dog again. So right at your chair, both hands can go on the chair. Again, you can have index fingers facing forward or palms facing slightly out, fingers wrapped around the side of the chair. And then walk the feet back. The goal is to get a nice long spine from your hands to your hips. Really press strong through your hands. So it's like you're pushing the chair down and away. Don't push it too hard if your chair is on a slick floor or something like that. But really pushing, reaching the sit bones back. And then as you're here, let's just try pedal the legs. Bend one knee and then bend the other knee. See how that feels. And your perspective now may be that probably that you're looking down at the floor. Maybe it just changes how you're feeling there in the room. Look in a different way. Reach both heels to the ground. Take a couple breaths. And then go ahead and we'll come all the way back up. All right. So, let's do our forward fold again. So standing at our chair, right next to the chair. If you need the chair, you've got it. If not, You can step back, big inhale, arms to the sky. Your choice, you can go hands to the chair, forearms to the chair, run of the chair, reach the hands to the ground. Take a few breaths. And then look forward. If you need to walk your hands up the chair, you can. If not, we'll come all the way up to stand. Give both legs a little wiggle. All right, let's come back to sit down into our chair. Actually, I'm going to keep my chair sideways so we can sit down. So we did a little gentle twist at the beginning, but I want us to get a little further into our twist now. So sitting in your chair, you can be facing forward, facing me. I'm facing sideways just so you can see what I'm doing. Feet nice and flat on the ground, and make sure you're forward on the front of your chair so you've got space between you and the chair behind you. And we'll take a twist. So inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhale, turning to the right. And this time, bring the hand to the back of the chair, the right hand to the knee. Inhale, sit up tall. As you exhale, finding your twist. So you've got the chair there and you can use it for your twist. We'll hold this for a little bit. Actually, hold on 1 second. Stay there in your twist. I need to check on my cat because they're making really horrible sounds. My apologies. So please untwist. My cat got tangled in the string of the blinds and had it wrapped around his tail. So not so great. So go ahead, I turn my chair around. You can turn the other way, just stay facing forward there in your chair. Looking forward. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, turning to the left. Left hand can go to the back of the chair. Right hand comes across. Be here for a few breaths. Sit up nice and tall. So you're looking to the left, maybe looking behind you. Finding a few breaths. And then go ahead, look back towards the middle, and we'll unwind that. All right, I'm gonna turn forward so I can see you guys, so you can see me. All right, sit up nice and tall. Let's play a little bit with our shoulders and our neck. So go ahead, take the shoulders up by the ears, and then drop them down towards the ground. Try that a few times, up by the ears, and drop them down. Again, up by the ears, and drop them down. And then we'll take some shoulder rolls. So up by the ears and let them go forward and down and back, all the way around. And then we'll go the opposite way. So now they go up and back and down and forward, all the way around. And then let our shoulders settle down our back. Just let your right ear fall towards your right shoulder. Left ear fall towards the left shoulder. Back and forth a couple times. And then the next time we go over to the right, just let your chin drop towards your chest, swing it around to the left. And then back the other way, swing it around to the right. Back and forth a few times. And one more time over to the left. And then bring the head right back up to center. Nice and gently, just look up towards the sky. And then look down towards your belly button. Try that a few times, looking up towards the sky. Looking down towards your belly button. One more time, up and down. And we can come right back to the center, keeping the shoulders square, just look it over to the right. And then look over to the left. Back and forth a few times. One more time each way. And then back to the center. All right, give your wrists a little shake. And then we'll stretch our wrists. So I know in this class with our chair, we didn't put a ton of weight on our hands for downward dog. And if you're in a regular yoga class and you're doing a bunch of downward dogs, or you're working on handstands, which if anybody wants to do, let me know. It's my favorite thing to teach. But in this class, we didn't put a ton of weight on our hands, but we did do that. We got our hands below our hips, changed our perspective a little bit. And so now I want us to just stretch out our wrists. So take your right hand and let the right palm face to the ground and just put the left hand on top and very gently press down. So you're getting a stretch on the back of this right wrist. And then we'll change that. So now the right palm faces up to the sky. I didn't change anything about where my elbow is or where my arm is. The elbow's down, the wrist is up, just the hand flips back. And then this left hand's gonna come in front and the fingers can rest on the right fingers and give it a stretch. So you're getting a stretch in the back of your wrist. So a lot of times we don't pay much attention to our hands and our feet and our wrists and our ankles until they bother us. And so it's always good to give them a little love. And then go ahead, shake that out. We'll do the other side. So the left elbow's down, the wrist is up, and then we'll take the palm down and the right hand on top. If you let the elbow come up, you're not gonna get the stretch. So the elbow's gotta stay down, the top hand's pressing down, just very gently, don't force it. And then we'll switch, so the palm up, the right hand can come in front, stretching the fingers that way. And then we'll shake it out. So those two things are great for stretching your wrists, the fronts and the backs of your wrists. But I like to do one other thing that helps to decompress your wrists. So when you're stretching the back, you're compressing the front. When you're stretching the front, you're compressing the back. It's nice to decompress your whole wrist at the same time, especially if you spend much time down on your hands as you get more advanced in your practice and start doing a bunch of downward dogs. So take your right hand and you want to have your hand be loose. This won't work if you've got muscular action in your hand. So you have to let the hand just relax. And then you're going to take your left hand and grab around your wrist, right where your wrist connects to your hand, almost as if you had on a bracelet that was a little too big and it was trying to fall off and it hits that spot where it gets stuck on your hand. So grab right there where your hand and your wrist connect and you're just going to squeeze. Again, this hand, the right hand has to stay loose. So you're going to squeeze, and when you squeeze, you can feel all those little bones in your wrist kind of moving apart and decompressing. And so just try that a few times, and you can move this left hand around. It'll feel good when you do. Just move it around, give that wrist a little love. And then we'll try the other side. So shake out the left one, let it be loose. Let that right hand come like a loose bracelet right where the hand and the wrist connect. And you can just start giving it a squeeze. Feeling all those little bones decompressing. And then we'll go ahead and let that go. So we'll do one more thing with our wrists and our forearms just to give them a little love today since we were on our hands a little bit with our downward dog. So the left hand's gonna come up and make a nice tight fist. So now we're doing the opposite. We've got lots of muscular action, really tight fist. And then you're gonna grab around your forearms, so not that spot we grabbed before, but a bit lower, and really squeeze. Squeeze it really tight. And then take your wrist and move it around in a circle in both directions. You can just kind of wiggle it around. And if you're squeezing tight, you should feel you're getting a little massage on your forearm. And you can move your hand up and down and just give yourself a little self-massage, a little love there for your forearm. See how it feels. And then we'll try the other side. Shake both hands out. And then squeeze the left hand, grab around the left forearm, give that arm a wiggle. And you can adjust the pressure because you're the one doing it, not like a regular massage. You don't have to say anything, just squeeze harder or less hard depending on how it's feeling. You can go all the way down near your elbow, all the way up by your wrist, just moving that hand around, squeezing. And then go ahead, shake everything out. All right, as we usually do in this class, let's stretch our hips. This is my favorite stretch to have us do. So crossing the right ankle over the left knee. If you've not done this one before, remember, we'll want to activate our feet. So our foot's activated to stabilize our knee. If it can't get up there on your knee, you can straighten the leg out so that it doesn't have to get up as high. You can move the foot down if you want. But if you're there with me, you're sitting up nice and tall. If it feels like a huge stretch in your right hip already, you're just going to sit up tall and breathe. If you feel like you want more stretch, keeping a nice long spine, we'll lean forward, leading with our heart, and we'll take a few breaths. And then we'll sit up nice and tall, uncross the legs, give both a wiggle. And we'll try the other side. So standing, keeping the left foot there. We'll cross the right ankle over. Again, if you need to straighten out, crossing the left ankle over. If you need to straighten out that right leg so that the ankle can get onto the leg, that's totally okay. Sit up nice and tall. If it's feeling like a big stretch, we're gonna stay here. If it's not feeling like as much of a stretch, leading with your heart, nice long spine, we'll lean forward and take a few breaths. And then let's sit up nice and tall, and we'll uncross our legs. Give both legs a little wiggle. And let's have a little back bend. So I'm gonna turn sideways again just so you can see. Some of you have done this one before, but just in case, you can stay facing forward. Sitting at the front of your chair once again, so that the back of your chair has some space between you and the chair. We'll sit up nice and tall. Option one is we'll take our hands to opposite elbows. If that's feeling okay, you can stay right there. If you're getting a big stretch across the front of your shoulders, across the front of your chest, if you're not feeling enough, you can take your hands and clasp them together nice and tightly. If that's feeling good, you can take the elbows back, maybe straighten the arms, and maybe the arms start to come away. If you want to, you can start to fold forward. And if you want to, you can take the hands up on top of the back of your chair and sit up tall. So lots of options today. Taking a few breaths. And then we'll go ahead and let that go. All right, I'm gonna turn back to the front. You can stay just like you are. I always tell my big chair yoga class that I do at the Shepherd Center that a big part of teaching chair yoga is actually like teaching chair dancing, because we're always moving the chairs around. When I first started teaching chair yoga, I had to get my head around that. It was a different perspective of just normal yoga teaching, because you have to continually position the chair for whatever we're doing, so it's always interesting. All right, let's take our legs out wide and sit up nice and tall and get a little side bend in here before we're done. So big inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Couple choices, you can take your right forearm to your thigh and reach the left arm across. If you're feeling like you want to go further, you can reach the right hand down towards the floor and really reach the arm out. Try to roll the heart up towards the ceiling, making sure that that arm is right past your ear. So if you look up to the sky, if you change your perspective that way, you should be able to see. Your arm shouldn't be in your way. So the arm wants to roll back. Take a big breath. And then we'll sit up nice and tall once again. And we'll try the other side. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, the left arm down. Again, your choice. You can take forearm to the thigh and reach the arm across. If that's feeling good, you can stay there. If you want to go further, reaching the left hand down to the ground. Again, trying to roll the heart up like you're trying to turn the center of your chest up towards the ceiling. The top arm rolls back, top shoulder rolls back. Maybe you change your perspective and you look up towards the sky. Take a big breath. And then inhale all the way back up. And we'll wiggle the legs together. Give them both a little shake. Let's give ourselves a few hugs. Big inhale, reach the arms out. Exhale, draw the arms in. Give yourself a big hug. Inhale, reach it out. Let's go opposite arm on top. Give yourself a big hug. Try that a few times. Inhale, reaching out. Exhale, giving yourself a hug. Again, inhale it out. And exhale, hug. This last one, let's hold it. So inhale out. Exhale, right arm on top, left arm across. Drawing in. Take a couple breaths. And now try the other side. So both arms out, left arm on top. Drawing in. Giving yourself a big hug. We all need hugs right now because we're not supposed to hug each other, except our immediate family, I guess. And then go ahead, sit up tall, and we'll lower the arms down. All right. Let's, here for the end, go ahead, just like we did at the beginning, hands can rest on your knees. Let's close our eyes. Take a nice, easy inhale. And a nice, easy exhale. And just let your awareness be here on your breath. Following your inhale, flowing in. Following your exhale, flowing out. And I encourage you as you go off your chair, through your day, through your week, if you need a change in perspective, there's many things you can do, but one of the best things that you can do is just to stop and focus on your breath for a few minutes, a few moments, even 3, 5, 10 breaths can be enough just to change your perspective and change how you're feeling. So give that a try if you need it. Let's bring our hands to touch at our heart. Whatever your intention was this morning or this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're watching this, take your mind back to it for a moment. Check in with yourself, just see how it went. And then as always, most importantly, take a moment and honor the light that exists within you and thank yourself for coming to yoga today. I thank you all for being here with me as well. And I honor the light within you and within all beings. Namaste.